So what's up, everybody? This is another video I'm doing here. I'm over here at George Miracle Station. I'm gonna do a video because I did one last night on love hotels yesterday, and today I want to do one on marriage in Japan because I know that people are kind of curious as to what are you getting yourself into when you marry a Japanese woman. I'm finally able to do this. I know I've probably gotten tons of requests to do a video on marriage in Japan and lots of questions on it. I've seen videos of people out there doing marriages on Japan, but it's like being married to a Japanese woman and this, that, the other. First thing I want to say about all this is that everybody's different. Everybody's unique. So there is no one, you can't just say, okay, all Japanese women are like this, all Japanese women are like that. There are a lot of similarities, though, that are cultural in Japan. And I know that the Japanese women have a reputation of being good wives, loving and serving their mates, their husbands. And I know that people look at Japanese women, wives, and they say, oh, they're very submissive, and I know Western women like to put their opinion out there and like, well, they're doing this. Why are they bowing to the hubby? Why are they doing this? Why are they doing that? And truth be told, a lot of the women in Japan are very independent even when they're married, and they actually run a lot of things in their home. They keep their harmony in their home well run. All right. I'm the man. In my particular household, I'm the man in the house. My wife knows who wears the pants in my house, but that is not something that I had to ask my wife to let me do. That is something that I, as a man, have taken on that responsibility, and my wife, as a wife, whether she lived in the States or Japan, has accepted that role in her life. And that's what people need to understand. When you marry a Japanese woman, they are accepting their role as a wife, and you're accepting that role as a husband. You both have responsible roles. You have a duty to each other. You have promised each other that you will live together, and you will work together, and you will breathe together, and you will eat together. You will share information together. You will raise children together. You will cry together. You will hurt together. You will love together. You will do a lot of things. You will do everything together for the rest of your life with this person. You've chosen this particular person, and the other person that you've asked has accepted you in their life. And the way it works is, for women, a smart woman will normally choose a man that is like her dad, as my wife did. Yes. So my wife's biggest attraction to me is that I was like her dad. Because her dad he spent 34 years in the Japan Air Self-Defense Force. I was in the United States Air Force for 12 years. We both actually I didn't realize her dad and I have a lot in common. How we do things, how we run the household, how we protect our families, how we take care of our families, how we make sure that our families are like I said, secure, living in comfortable homes, things of that nature. We have the same kind of mannerisms, her dad and I. And that's because we probably have that discipline in us, right? So a smart woman in Japan, or anywhere in the world, but I'm talking Japan, they will always try to find a man like their dad. Now, if they don't have a close relationship with their dad, then that's a different story. But that's why I always tell you, when you're dating a woman in Japan, you need to make sure that she talks good about her dad, that she has a good relationship with her father, because you're going to be picking up those traits. And what it does is it really solidifies your relationship with that woman, because that woman will not deviate from anyone that is like her dad. She's not looking for a daddy. She's looking for a person like her dad, because she's seen how her dad has run the family, and she sees that her family unit was successful as my wife's was, and therefore she's more familiar with that success. She wants to continue with that success, and that is why they look for a man like their dad. And my wife has told me numerous amount of times, I fell in love with you, of course, for your personality, but you remind me so much of my dad. You do things You have a serious note about you, how you do things, and you go about you carrying yourself out. And she said that right there, it instills confidence in me and you, and that's the main thing. Now, as a man, I can't say that I look for, or when I look at a woman, I look at my mom in them, because my mother and I did not have a good relationship. My mother was not a good example of a mom. My mother was not a good example of a wife. My mother was not a good example of a woman. So, I look for women that were opposite of what my mom was. And some men will tend to do that, depending on how they were raised. And my wife is totally opposite of my mom. She's very kind. She cares about family. She is devoted to her family. The number one thing on her mind each and every day, and I can tell just by being married to her for the 17 years now, she is so devoted to her family, and she cares so much about her family that she's the kind of woman that when I go out and her birthday comes up, and every year on her birthday, which is our anniversary because we got married on her birthday, we go somewhere. And then she hasn't had a birthday cake in quite a few years because we're always somewhere else. And every time I say, oh, don't worry, when we get back, get your birthday cake, and we still don't get it. So one of these years I have to get her a birthday cake. She had some before, but she does get cakes, but as I'm talking about the going out and getting a custom-made birthday cake like we did to my son and my daughter, and and me sometimes. So, but yeah, she's devoted. Her thing is what makes her happy is instead of spending money on her, buying her a $5,000 or $6,000 watch, she said she'd rather us spend that money on traveling with the family and having a good time and eating some good food and things like that, and just sightseeing and whatnot. So that's her motivation. I mean, that's her devotion. That's what she likes. The Shinkansen passes by. So she really enjoys that. And I can tell when I was dating her that she is all about the family. And, I never wanted to have children until I met my wife. And I was like, wow, this woman could raise my kids for me. I don't have to worry about my kids getting hurt or being treated bad by my wife, and I don't. And she's very devoted to our family. So I think that's a big thing when everybody's going to have a different personality, and everybody's going to want something different out of each other. But the one thing I really want to say here is that devotion is the key. I can't stress that enough, how devoted women are in Japan. When you find a good one, they're very devoted to family because they really do care about family. That's why they're able to throw away their careers and put that on the back burner or never even go to it and raise a family. And my wife is a good example because when my wife and I, when she was in college, right before she graduated from college, she got hired onto a company here in Japan. It was a good job. They was going to pay her a good salary, a lot more than what a lot of people are getting paid here in Japan because of her degree. And my wife, at the last minute, had to turn them down and said, well, I'm sorry, I can't accept this position because I'm getting married. And then she came over, I came up and picked her up and took her to the States. So she gave all that up for me, to marry me, because she believed in me. And the way women do it here, and the way marriage should be, is when you marry someone, you should be comfortable with the decisions that your mate's going to make for the family. Especially the women, when they look for a man, they see that they're looking for the man like their dad because they know that their dad has made some solid, sound decisions, and they look for that in a man that they would. She knows that I'm going to be the man that's going to make the right decisions for my family and always put my family out of harm's way. Is what I did with this move to Japan. So. We left the U.S. Last year. We had planned on leaving the U.S. for 2 years before that, and we left, and we feel so safe here in Japan, and we're very happy here. And the funny thing is that I woke up this morning, and later on at breakfast, I found this video. I was looking at this Portland train killing this idiot on the train in Portland. I remember that. We remember being in the States in 17, and he got mad at these two Muslim women, and these men stood up and tried to protect them, and he ended up killing 2 out of the 3 men and he stabbed all 3 of them, but he killed 2 of them, ruined one man's life. The man is still living. And when we looked at each other, we said, oh my goodness, I'm so glad we don't live in a violent country anymore. And my wife always thanks me 1,000 times. Thank you for taking me out of all that violence, because that's something that I would not have felt comfortable raising my family in. See, so they trust your judgment. They trust your decision making. They trust the kind of man you're going to be. And that's something that you don't find in the West anymore. You just don't find that. A lot of women in the West, what they want to do is they want to fight their man. They want to compete with their man. I will give some women give some props out to some good women in the West, like Simone Biles. She's a good woman, married to her husband. I mean, I think she said she's watching Kevin Samuels, and she figured out that this is how you have to treat your man if you want to keep your man, and she's devoted to her man, and then that's why she still has her man, and that's how it works. I mean, when you marry a person, that person should be treated differently than any other man or woman that you have in your life. So many women in the West, they marry a man and then they fight with him, and then they're answering their phones when they're off work, and they get a call from their boss or their husband. They're picking up the phone call from their boss first before they even pick it up from their husband. That doesn't make any fucking sense. You're not going to be keeping your man that way. See, it's already embedded in your mind that somebody else is more important than my man, and he's the one that's supposed to be with you for the rest of your life. You got women out there in the States, and it's just not about the States, but I just brought this up because I'm talking about marriage here, where they are at work messing around with their husbands if their husbands don't work or don't make enough money as they make, and then the husband complain about it. They say, well, wait, I need to do this because I'm making more money. I'm making all the money in the house, so why can't I do it? That makes no fucking sense whatsoever. You don't marry a woman to then turn around and whore her out to other men. You don't do that. That's not marriage. That's not a life. No matter what fucking century it is, that's not a life. That's not the way things are. Things that will stay the same. Some things in life will stay the same no matter how many iPhones they make or Samsungs or how many flying cars they make. A marriage is a marriage. And when you enter into a marriage, it's not even really a contract. Well, if you want to legalize it, which it is legal, then you could say it's a contract for life. Is what it is. Now, we've all had our, men. I know me in the past, I've had my issues. I've been divorced. I was in a 9-year one-night stand marriage with no kids. You're just looking at the body. Oh, yeah, this is a sexy woman. But there was no substance there. There was no substance. There was no devotion. That person ended up leaving me, messing around, going to somebody else. Because I didn't have everything that they wanted. I wouldn't buy them a nice bag or some bullshit because I didn't make enough money. But why do I have to worry about how much money I make in order for me to keep a woman? That wasn't really a relationship. And that was a relationship that I myself had gotten in without being a man. Because I didn't know myself. I didn't know what it was like to be a man. And then when I found out what it was like, and then I knew myself and got to know myself better and how I interact with the world as a man, I chose the right woman. Because, like I said, I chose my wife because she's devoted. I know she's devoted to family. She's a very kind woman, has a very big heart. She cares about a lot of things in my life, in her family's life, and in her life. And she don't care if there's nobody else left in this world. It's just me, her, and the kids walking around. She's just as happy as a lark. And I know that, and I felt that, and I seen that. And it wasn't just, oh, I can be a nice lady. I can be a wife. I don't want to hear a bitch say she can be a wife. She has to be wifeable. And I'm not saying that everybody in Japan is wifeable, because they're not. You have some women over here that are just as devious as you can get out. Some are more devious than the ones in the States. But those are few and far between. And that's why I'm saying the reason why you run into women like that is because you don't look at their family history. You need to look at their family history, their family situation. Like I said, I'm always going to say this. You don't want to marry a woman from a broken home. You don't want that kind of woman. Yeah. Father passing away, that's a different animal. Because she'd be talking good about her daddy for the rest of his life. Oh, I love my dad when he was living. That's different. But oh, yeah, my mom divorced my dad. Men suck. I don't like this. I never talked to my father. He sucked. You don't want to be with a woman like that. You don't want to marry a woman like that in Japan. You don't want a woman from a broken family. Give a shit how fine they are. I know guys going to get me and say, well, I married a woman from a broken family. She seemed to be good for you. Well, great. And once again, I will say, great. That's good for you. Good on you. I'm not saying that everybody is bad. But all I'm saying is, but with all these beautiful selections over here to choose from in Japan, you need to choose wisely. You have the ability over here to choose a wife wisely. Now, for me, like I take a lot of trips. Like I said, I've been married for 17 years. My wife and I've been married over 17 years. And I take a lot of trips on my own. I got a big trip coming up to Tokyo next month, here in about a little bit over 3 weeks. a friend of mine coming in, and I'm going to be in, like I said, Tokyo. I'm going to be in Osaka, Fukuoka, and then back home and then back out again. This is all going to take place with over a month's time until my friend leaves. But the only question on my wife's mouth when I tell her that I made reservations and I'm going to do that is, oh, babe, have a good time. What hotel you staying at? That's it. There's none of this, oh, well, I'm going to do this then because you doing that. I'm going to do this. No. My wife is like, hey, you got some friends coming in, or even if I didn't have friends coming in, I just want to go take a trip. Like I've taken to Toyama, I've taken to Tokyo, going to concerts by myself because, we can't take the kids everywhere with us. And my wife's like, hey, great, you had a good time? Yeah. I bring back nice gifts to my wife and my kids, and my wife complains about me. You don't have to bring me nothing back, but I still bring her something back because she cares about me. She's on my purpose. And, it's not a give. It's not a take relationship with women in Japan. It's not a take. It's a give and take. It's a balance. Because when my wife comes up and says, hey, I'm going to go hang out with my friends, and I say, okay, yeah, have a good time, babe. Enjoy. Say hi to so-and-so and such and such. And my wife does what she needs to do. So this works both ways. A lot of times, it's not a situation where it has to be both ways. It's not a situation where my wife has to go out and see, because she really doesn't see her friends that much at all. Most of the time she sees them when she's with me, or she may want to have a conversation with somebody and she'll go. But that's the way things work. But she's not the kind of woman that says, okay, you've been here 55 times, so now I'm going to go to. No, that's not how it works, because once again, that's a woman like they do in the West. They want to come out and they want to compete with their man. And marriage is not about competition. Marriage is about unity. It's about unity. It's about being happy for your mate. It's about enjoying your mate's success. It's about sharing your success with your mate, and your mate sharing their success with you. And you both you're happy about it. It's a mutual agreement. All right? That's what it is. So, people get up here and say, well, you got a maid in your house, she's doing this, all that. No, my wife is not a maid. My wife is not a maid in my house. My wife does things in the house that she loves to do. My wife, like, for example, the house we live in now, she loves doing laundry. She loves to do the laundry. She loves to cook. She loves to do a lot of things now. And me, I like to do a lot of things in the house too. I like to clean my house. I like to, make sure this is in order, make sure that's in order. We've been married long enough to establish a solid balance within our home, a solid harmony within our home. And when you've been married to somebody that long, whatever they say out of their mouth is what you're thinking, and whatever you say out of their mouth, that's what they're thinking, and you're usually on the same page. You don't even have to really say anything, and you already know what you're talking about. And then you'll find yourself, yeah, you know what? I remember what you were saying about that the other day. Yeah, you're exactly right, babe. That's what I was talking about. See, the conversation start off like that. Oh yeah, babe, I see what you're saying about that. Yeah, remember? You see what I'm saying? That's how marriages work. That's how things work when you've been married. And see, I gotta say something about this brother, and I'm not gonna mention his name. And if he watched my video, he'll know what I'm talking about. And I got nothing but love for everybody. And this brother, he's got a YouTube channel. And I'm not knocking the brother for this, but I did see a thing he did on marriage in Japan about how he said when Japanese women will wait for you to get comfortable, and then they will come out and start telling you things they want you to do. Well, my wife doesn't do that to me. See, so that's a difference already. My wife doesn't do that to me. In fact, if anything, I do that to my wife sometimes. I just come, hey babe, what about this? What about that? You see what I'm saying? But she never does that to me. She never comes out and says to me when I get comfortable, when I'm chilling, I'm playing a video game or reading a book or whatever. She doesn't come out and say, oh, you know what? By the way, I need you to do this. No, that's my wife is not a honey-do that person. She's not like that. And then he came out with another video where I guess his wife didn't like him using YouTube. So she demanded that he come up with 10 reasons why he loves her and put it on YouTube. Now, to me, that's not something that I need to be doing. And I don't think that any man should be doing that. I think that in the marriage, number one, you don't have to apologize for whatever you do. You don't have to apologize to nobody. And some people get up here on my video and they be like, well, did your wife know you did this? Did your wife know you did that? You know what? I tell my wife about my videos, but I don't tell my wife all my details of my video. My wife doesn't watch my videos. She watches them sometimes she doesn't. She's not going to sit up there behind me saying, oh, what did you, babe? Oh, you said this. Why did you say that? No. My wife has never asked me once why I say what I said on my videos. Because my wife is not really concerned about that. Like I said, she's devoted to family, and her number one priority is to make sure that everybody in the family is comfortable and happy in their environment, as am I. You see, so I just think that brother, when he had to get up there and say 10 things about why he loves his wife just because on YouTube video channel, I was like, no, this is not the way shit's supposed to be. But look, everybody's got their different way to do things. But to me, that's not what you want to do in your marriage. That's not how you want your marriage to be. Your marriage should not be attached with conditions. Whatever you do should not be attached with conditions. I mean, yeah, he said his wife treats him well. She does things. She makes sure his clothes are clean, his food's cooked, and things like that. Okay, we get that. But then with all of that, now you're coming out with the man say, well, no, you need to do this and you do that. That's to me, that's not the way it works. But the saving grace for that brother is that I think he said he's only been married like 5 years. So normally what's supposed to happen in a Japanese marriage, when you're married to a Japanese woman, is the longer you've been married, the better it's going to get. The better it'll get. Because you'll get to the point where you feel totally comfortable with each other and you don't worry about things. But then again, even when I was married to my wife for 5 years, I didn't have those kind of conditions on me. See? So it just depends on the woman you choose. Not every woman in Japan is going to be telling you, giving you conditions, because a lot of them don't do that. And that's why you as a man, when you're courting a woman and you're thinking about marrying a woman, you have to check on all of that. And you can't just never tell a woman what kind of woman you're looking for. Because the problem is when you come out and say, they ask you, what kind of woman you like? Your answer should be, well, you know what? We'll see. I'll let you know. I'm still trying to figure that out. Don't sit up there and say, well, I like a woman that does this for me, that for me. Don't make a list. Because the average woman will say, okay, as long as I abide by that list, I'm good. I'm getting married, boo, boo, boo. And then once they get married, that list goes out the window. That's what happens. Don't give them a list. I didn't give my wife a list of nothing. My wife fell in love with me because of me. And then she told me she liked me. I got a dragonfly coming. She liked me because the dragonflies are cool, but I just didn't want them in my video. And she tells me she loves me because I remind her of her dad as well too, because I'm like her dad. Those are some traits in me that she likes. That's not the only reason why she loves me, but I have those traits. You see what I'm saying? So you can't, in Japan, you don't have to be, marriage is not about conditions. It's hard to explain. Westerners don't understand what marriage means in Japan. They don't understand what marriage is like. They think, like they see couples out there and they'll see like a man mess around with his wife. Oh, he fucked around with his wife, so you better divorce him. Women are not going to do that in Japan. Like, that's not how they work. They don't mind if you're going out there. I mean, my wife, she never says yeah or nay to me, but the rule of thumb is if you're going to go out there, you don't need an affair that's going to get found out about, of course, because that's not what they want. And they don't want that thrown in their face. You don't throw it in their face. But so many Westerners go here and oh, baby, yeah, well, I did this, I did that, I did that, and yeah, I did that too. I did that too. And that was me back in the day. I did that, and the wife was like, oh, well, whatever, it's okay. All right, don't worry about it. Next, and what you want for dinner, right? But I didn't have to say it, but that did change the relationship up a little bit. So you don't need to come out and brag about who you screwed or who you going out, who you paid for, if you're going to get in that type of situation. It just doesn't work that way in Japan. They're not going to divorce you over 20 minutes worth of pleasure and fuck up your kids' life and their life, because they're not making the money. They're not going to do that at all. See? So I think that's what a lot of people need to understand. It's just Westerners want to look at they want to look at life. A lot of people from America and all this shit, they want to look at life like it's from their perspective. Like one other thing, and I'm going to do a video on that later. Religion. They want to say, oh, Japanese, though, yeah, but everybody's praying to the same. No, that's bullshit. Everybody is different. Religion is different. I'm not going to do a video on religion right now, but later on I'll do a video on that. But it's a totally different thing. It's not like it is in the West. It's not. And marriage is the same way. Yeah, you physically married to a woman. Yeah, they recognize the physical interaction or the physical relationship between a man and a woman. They recognize that you're married with the ring and everything. But outside of that, it's different from the way they handle shit in the West. And what I don't like is people in the West come over here and just trying to place Western attitudes on shit. Okay, well, they do it this way because of that. No. They do it that way because it's totally different from what you're familiar with. It's totally different from the way you are in the West. It's totally different. For example, some people in the West think, oh, if you ain't have an argument, they don't love you. Oh, you got to be fighting. Oh, you got to have an argument, man. You argue, they don't give a shit. My wife and I don't argue. We don't argue. We have our discussions, but we don't argue. Because that to us, that's not going to do anything for us. When we come to a disagreement, we talk it out. You know, we might not say something for a few days, or not a few days, for a few hours, but then we come back and say, you know what, let's talk about this. What were you meaning? That's what we do. We don't, there's no, my wife's, and another thing about my wife too, and when you're married, most women, now this thing I know, this is cultural, a lot of women in Japan are not going to yell in their house. My wife will be in 2 other rooms over, and she will have the same level volume in her voice when she calls me. You know, boo boo, boo boo, or she calls me. She won't raise her voice. She won't, and even to my kids, she won't say, hey, no. She'll say it, and then if she wants to be heard, she'll come to you in the same room if she didn't think you heard her. That's how it works in Japan. These women don't be, these big ass mouth. A lot of these Western women be like, yeah, hey, get down here, get down. Sound like a goddamn animal yelling over the damn place. You know, that's not what you, that's gonna fuck up your harmony in your house. That's not what you come over here for. And I'm just talking to people. Yeah, some people may like that shit. I don't want a bitch yelling over my house. Because I don't yell. I'm the same way. I'll say, hey, you know, if she can't hear me, then, or they can't hear me, I just go to the room they're in. I just go in there and say, oh, yeah. Oh, but, and then my wife would be like, what were you saying? Oh, yeah, what I was trying to say was this, that, and the other. See? There's no yelling over. You're going to fuck up the harmony. And the reason why a lot of Japanese don't yell in their house anyway is because you can hear a lot of shit outside. Yeah, especially these older homes. You talk, you can hear, motherfucker. People can hear what you're talking about. So that's why you usually keep your mouth low. Especially if you live in an apartment, they can hear you next door. I lived in an apartment, man, when I was in Osaka. And I remember playing my music. And my music wasn't loud. This guy's like right across the balcony. Hey man, can you turn your music down? And then I realized when I knocked on the wall, the walls separate the 2 apartments. It was like, it wasn't like like I'm knocking on this. It wasn't like that. It was like a boom, boom, boom. I was like, oh shit. There ain't no insulation in that wall. It's just X board and that's it. And that's slap up some woodwork and that's wood and that's it. So shit, they can hear anything you say. You can hear people doing all kinds of shit. I said, oh, I never knew that. So that's why they're not yellers in their home like a lot of these women are in the West. So I think that in a nutshell, when you are thinking about marriage in Japan, you need to really look at your mate, and you need to determine what's good for you out of your mate. And if you have any doubts, then that's not the right person for you. And one more thing I want to say too, because I'm going to shut this down. I believe in this Chinese astrology thing. I've been studying Chinese astrology, probably 30 years now, and but I really started getting into it. And I can meet somebody, I can tell you what year you were born in. Like, you know, you're the year of the rat, the year of the tiger, the year of this, the year of that. One thing you gotta watch is when you're not compatible with a year, don't marry that woman. No. Like me, I'm the tiger. The year of the monkey, as a friend, is cool. Like a lot of my friends are year of the monkeys, it's cool. But in a relationship with a woman, year of the monkey and the tiger, no. I don't match with the year. Another year of the tiger female, no. The year of the monkey, no. And the year of the ox, hell no. But on my astrology, they said that the worst 2 are the year of the ox and the year of the monkey, and don't marry the same year that you were born in. Everything else is, not everything else, but some are neutral and some are very highly compatible. Like the year of the dragon, for me, the year of the dog, the year of the horse, those are highly compatible. The year of the pig, those are highly compatible to the tiger. But there's always 2 out of everyone. Everyone's got 2 that you should never be with. And then there's about 2 that you shouldn't be with. And then there's going to be like 4 that you can match with really well. And then that's 6. And then there's going to be 6 that's neutral for you. Yeah. So don't forget, you don't need to go up to them and say, hey, well, how old are you? What year is this? But you'll start to see. And if you study that Chinese astrology, like me, I can tell. I've talked to friends and I've guessed people's, oh, yeah, you're the year of the monkey. Oh, you're the year of the, how'd you know? They say that to me a lot. I can tell. What they are. Like, there's a person on my comments. She's an older lady, but she's putting these long ass comments up here. I don't even read them anymore because I'm like, I ain't got time to read all this shit. It's too long. I mean, she's writing a book on my comments here, and I'm about ready to cut her off, but I don't want to really disrespect this person because she hasn't done anything wrong on my channel. She just writes these long ass comments that I don't have time to read, you know. So if she sees this thing, you know, it's nothing personal, but I don't have time to read all of that. If you put that shit in like like 3 or 4 lines of shit, and I'll look at it. But if you're writing fucking 4 or 5 paragraphs and comments, you're not doing nothing but just taking up fucking eco space. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to throw that out there. So good luck in your search for a mate. Good luck in your search. You know, there's no perfect situation that you're gonna find yourself in. But it's what it is, though. It's good for you, and in this whole search for a mate, always remember, what are you going to get out of this? Don't forget to love yourself. Don't forget to care about yourself, because I've gotten in some bad relationships by just feeling sorry for somebody else. Okay, I'll be with them, or oh, whatever. Forget about me. I got to take care of her, because I grew up as a simp, and that's what I was taught. Just don't worry about you as a man. You take care of the woman, make sure she's got her Louis Vuitton bag and all her nice clothes and shit. Fuck you, you walk around with holes in your sneakers, but make sure she got her $1,000 shoes on. But once I realized that that was not the way shit's supposed to be, that's when I became a man. That's when my life got a lot better. All right? So this is BSP. I'm going to be uploading these videos later on. Y'all take it easy. I'm out.